My daughter Neha was going to study law in America. This joy, this pride, it made me sell my house. Our 3-story home. The home where I spent 15 years alone after losing my wife. Neha was only 7 when her mother passed away. After that house became my companion. The vegetable garden in pots on the rooftop. The old wind chimes hanging on the balcony. Photo albums filled with Neha's childhood pictures. I left all of it behind, dreaming not of making her a doctor, but a barrister. I was a school teacher. Bengali literature. I retired in 2018. My pension runs the household, but there's never anything extra saved. When Neha got admitted into law at Dhaka University, I thought, this is it. This is the path. Her CV, her recommendation letters, her IELTS score. Everything aligned. An offer came from a university in London. LLM course, 1 year. The cost was 10 lakh taka. I sold the house, got 25 lakh. The rest I put in an FDR thinking this would cover her living expenses. Neha left in September 2021. She video called me from Heathrow Airport. She said, "Baba, you're my hero. When I finish law and come back home, I'll buy you a new house. You'll have a rose garden on the balcony, in pots." I wept, hearing such mature words from her. The first month she called regularly, told me about her classes, her professors, how late she stayed in the library studying. She said, "Baba, England's legal system is very tough, but I can do it. Don't worry." The second month I sent another 5 lakh. She said tuition fees had increased. She needed to take an extra course. I broke the FDR. The third month I sent another 3 lakh. She said there was a moot court competition in the winter term. Registration fees, address, books. I sent everything. This went on for nearly a year and a half. Neha sent me pictures. Her university ID card, the inside of the law library, group photos with several students. She said they were her classmates, all brilliant. I showed everyone in the neighborhood. "Look, my daughter is studying law in London." Then came February. An old student's father passed away. I went to lead the funeral prayer. That's where I saw Rezwan's mother crying. She held me close. Then, in a whisper, she said, "Sir, is your daughter really studying law in London?" I said, "Yes, of course." She was silent for a moment. Then she said, "My son Rezwan is doing his MBA there. He came home last Christmas. He said, he sees Neha often." My heart lurched. I asked, "Are they in the same university?" She said, "No, Rezwan is in Manchester. Isn't your daughter in London?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Rezwan told me Neha lives in London, but she never enrolled in university. She works at a restaurant, and she has a boyfriend, a British boy. They live together." My legs trembled. I don't remember how long I stood there after leading the prayer. That night, I asked Rezwan's mother for her son's number. I spoke to him. Rezwan tried to evade at first. Then he said, "Sir, your daughter probably hasn't told you everything. She dropped out of university a long time ago. I told her many times, tell your father the truth, but she says her father won't be able to handle it." I hung up. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning at dawn, I called Neha. Her voice was thick with sleep. I asked her directly, "Do you actually study at the university?" A long silence. Then she said, "Baba, I was too afraid to tell you. I didn't like the course. I couldn't handle the pressure. I dropped out a year ago. Now I work part-time at a restaurant. And I have a boyfriend. I live with him." My throat dried up. Still, I asked, "Then the money I sent every month?" She said, "That money paid our flat rent, covered our expenses. We saved some too. Baba, I want to come back, but he won't let me go. He says we'll start a business here, get married, settle permanently." I couldn't speak. I put the phone down. For a week, I spoke to no one. Every night I looked at the photos Neha had sent me. The university logo, the ID card, the library, all of it, photoshopped. Her classmates were actually her coworkers from the restaurant. That British boyfriend of hers had taught her how to doctor photos and fool her father. 2 weeks later, Neha called again. Her voice carried a suppressed excitement. She said, "Baba, we want to buy a pub. The location is excellent. Tourist area, central London. The owner is returning to his country, needs to sell quickly. We just need a down payment. £30,000. Can you send the rest of the money? This is the biggest opportunity of our lives. I'll return the money, I promise." I listened in silence. Then I said, "Do you see me only as an ATM machine? Or as your father?" Silence. Then she began to cry. "Baba, please. This is my future. I know I've hurt you, but I'm changing. If we buy this pub, we can earn well. You come here, we'll live together. I'll take care of you." I said, "You speak of taking care of me, yet for 3 years you've lied to my face. I sold my house for you. I lost my pension savings. I told the whole neighborhood my daughter was becoming a barrister in London. And you went to London and learned how to use Photoshop and how to fool your father. She kept crying. Baba, I am nothing without you. Please, forgive me, just this once. I hung up. But that night, I did something else. I sent Neha an email. A legal notice. Through my lawyer friend, Zahir Bhai. It stated, misappropriation of 18 lakh taka over 18 months. Forgery. Fraud. With evidence. A notice of intent to file a case. Return the 18 lakh. Or face criminal charges. Within 24 hours, Neha called. Her voice no longer held tears. Only anger. Baba, you're filing a case against me? You want to send your own daughter to jail? Don't you have any mercy? Would you have done this if my mother were alive? You were so proud of me. Now you won't be able to show your face in the neighborhood. I said, if you thought I would only send money and stay silent, you were wrong. You didn't just take my money. You stole my trust. The only way to earn that trust back is to take responsibility. She said, I am taking responsibility. But I can't return it now. Give me time. I said, I gave you 3 years. You used that time to lie, to squander money, and to make a fool of me. Now it's your turn to prove whether you truly want to change. I will not withdraw the case. You will send money every month. And if you don't, the next notice will go to the police. She hung up. 7 months have passed since that day. Neha sent money for the first 2 months. 5,000 taka each month. Then it stopped. She hasn't called me since. Blocked on Facebook. WhatsApp messages unread. From her British boyfriend's profile I found out. They never bought that pub. Instead, she's moved somewhere outside London with another man. I see her photos on his timeline. Smiling. A beer mug in her hand. An unfamiliar city behind her. Caption, new chapter, new me. I still live in that rented room. There is no balcony. No vegetable garden in pots. Just a single photo of Neha as a child. Hanging on the window grill. School uniform. 2 ponytails. A first prize certificate in her hand. Baba, I got first. That cry still echoes in my ears. The girl who came first, she has now learned, in the name of second chances, how to demand a 3rd round of money from her father. Zahir Bhai, my lawyer, said, if she's abroad, there's little we can do legally. But if she ever returns to the country, she'll be arrested at the airport. I said, I will not let her come back. Because if she returns, all her dreams will end. But the truth is, where she is now, her dreams have already ended. She just doesn't know it yet. I wake up at dawn every day now. I make tea. I look at that photo on the window grill, and I sip my tea. I keep Neha's mother's photo beside it. I tell her, you left while still alive. I'm alive, but I died long ago. I raised your daughter, but I failed to make her human. I taught her how to write, yet she used her handwriting to sign forged checks. Today is Neha's birthday. I sent her a message. I wrote, parents don't ask for anything back from their children. They only want their child to be well, to live truthfully. My door is still open for you, but the door for money is closed. When you truly change, come back. I will wait. The message was sent. No read receipt. I know where she is right now. Probably sitting in some pub, ordering toast with her boyfriend, or lost in a new city, or thinking, when will Baba send money again? I will send no more money, but I will not stop waiting. Then, 1 year passed. There is no longer a framed photo of Neha on top of the cupboard in that rented house of mine. I have also taken down the picture of her school dress, hanging from the window grill. No, not out of hatred, out of the need to survive. Seeing that photo every morning made my tea taste bitter, made it hard to swallow my bread. Jahir Bhai said, let her go. She chose her life. You choose yours. I have chosen. I started taking part-time classes at the college. Watching the raw, handwritten poems of my Bengali literature students, I feel they will go far. I correct their mistakes, help them shape story plots. In return, I drink tea with them after class, in their adda. Their laughter helps me believe in the world again. Last month, something happened. I was returning from college in the afternoon, hanging out at the pawn shop on the corner of the lane. Suddenly, a rickshaw stopped. A girl got off. Thin, pale, dark circles under her eyes. Old jeans and a dirty sweatshirt. Hair unkempt. She stood under the shop's fan, looking around, as if she didn't understand where she had arrived. I couldn't even recognize her. Then she saw me and stared. Eyes filled with water, but no tears. Only exhaustion, shame, and a deep sense of defeat. Neha. She stepped closer, stood in front of me, opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her lips trembled once. Then she looked at the ground. A long silence. The pawn shop owner, sensing something, turned the fan up. Neha whispered, "Baba, I've come back." Her voice no longer carried that confidence, that audacity to say, "I will pay you back." Just a broken voice and a lowered head. I said nothing. I paid the rickshaw puller 500 taka and sent him off. I brought her home. She stood by the door, as if waiting for permission to step inside. I said, "There's no extra room for you in this house. If you want to stay, it's this sofa. Food is there. Eat if you want." She didn't eat anything the first night. Just sat on the sofa, looking through my old books, counting stars through the gaps in the balcony grill. I lay in bed, listening. She wasn't crying, but in the middle of the night, she let out a long sigh, as if releasing some of the weight pressed against her chest. The next morning, she said, "I'll look for a job. I'll pay you back." While making tea, I said, "You cannot pay back that money. You never understood its value. How will you return it?" She fell silent. Then, slowly, she began to speak. How that British boyfriend of hers first pulled her out of university. How he taught her Photoshop, tricks to fool her father. How a pub was opened with her money, but the lease was in the boyfriend's name. How, when the pub failed, he ran off with another girl. She had asked him to return the money he had invested, her father's money. He laughed and said, "Your name isn't anywhere. What will you claim back?" Neha spent an entire month on the streets of London. Nights in shelters, days in fast food joints. Eventually, the Bangladesh High Commission issued her an emergency travel permit and sent her back. She said, "Baba, I know you don't trust me anymore, but I haven't come to ask you for anything. Just a little space, where I can learn to stand again." I set down my cup of tea, looked at her. Her face was dry, but her lips trembled. This girl once called me 5 times a week. Now, standing before me, she could not meet my eyes. I said, "I'll let you stay, on one condition." She lifted her face. "In this house, that line, 'Baba, I'll pay you back,' won't work anymore. Whether you can return the money or not is not the point. The point is, you must learn to take responsibility. You'll eat the food cooked for you, sweep the floor, fix the tap water. Do all this, without any payment. Because running a household takes money, but building one takes people." She stayed from that day on. The first week, she barely spoke. Just worked. Woke up in the morning, made my tea. Earlier, she used to add too much sugar. Now it was just right. Brought vegetables from the market, bargained for the price. When I returned from college, I'd find her airing her mother's sari on the balcony grill in the sun. As if, quietly, she was getting to know the house again. The second week, one night she asked, "Baba, have you dropped the case against me?" I said, "No." She was quiet. Then she said, "You did the right thing. I wouldn't have dropped it either." The third week, she suddenly asked, "Did you know I would come back?" I said, "I didn't know. But I hoped." She said, "Was hoping foolish?" I said, "A father's hope for his child can be foolish. But perhaps being a father is a little foolish too. When you were in your mother's womb, I asked her every night, 'Will it be a son or a daughter?' She said, 'As long as it's healthy, that's enough.' I wasn't satisfied. I said, 'He'll be a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer.' Your mother said, 'Whatever he grows up to be, we'll love him.' I said, 'I have so many dreams for him.' Your mother smiled. Then one day, she left for a land from which no one returns." Neha was crying. For the first time, truly crying. No performance, no plea. Just holding me tight, sobbing into my chest. Her wet cheek pressed against my shirt. I ran my hand through her hair. The fourth week, she said one day, "I've enrolled in a college, distance learning program, honors in Bengali literature." I was surprised. She said, "I've been reading your old books. I never thought of you as a professor. I only knew my father taught at a school. Your love, your education, it was all hidden in the pages of your books. I never even opened them all these years." The fifth week, she asked me one day, "Baba, will you still keep the case against me?" I said, "The case is in your name, against you. But the place you stand now, it's not a courtroom dock. It's the courtyard of this house. You're learning to stand." I'll withdraw the case when you prove to yourself that you are no longer the old Neha. She said, I will prove it. It will take time. But I will. Yesterday, I saw her WhatsApp status. No photo of her, no fireworks, no caption about a new chapter. Just a poem. Still, come back, come back, come back to me. Does that tear-soaked flute still play for you? Do you still love? Do you, beloved? Jibanananda Das. I saved the screenshot to my gallery. Then I put the phone down, looked out the window. Neha was standing on the balcony, holding one of my old books, turning the pages. The afternoon light caught in her hair. I am 67. Perhaps there isn't much time left. The dream Neha's mother had, whatever she grows up to be, will love her. That dream has returned after 20 years. I couldn't make her a doctor, couldn't make her a lawyer, but the battle to make her a human being again, that battle is not yet over. In that battle, I want to win. The money case is still pending in court, but now it is no longer a weapon of revenge. It is a tool of learning. Neha knows, the day she returns my last penny, there will be no bond to sign. Only a daughter who once stole money from her father and then learned honesty from him again. I forgave her long ago. But forgiveness is not absolution. She must earn her own forgiveness. That is the only way now. This morning, Neha said, Baba, I got a job. Editorial assistant at a publishing house. 12,500 taka. I can give you the first installment the day after tomorrow. I said, not the first installment. That will be your first installment. I've kept count, even if you haven't. 18 lakh, 72,500 taka. No interest. Just return the principal. She smiled. After so many days, I saw a smile on her face. She said, 18 lakh, 72,500 taka. I will pay it back. Inshallah. Hearing that inshallah from her, my eyes welled up. Her mother's face surfaced in my mind. The same pronunciation. The same faith. Neha hasn't fully returned yet. There is still fear in her, uncertainty, a lack of confidence. But every morning when she makes tea, I understand. She is coming back. Slowly, little by little. I don't know if my money will ever return. At 67, the chances of recovering 18 lakh taka are slim. But I am not waiting for the money. I am waiting for that day when Neha will stand in court and say, Your Honor, I stole money from my father. I confess my guilt, but I want to change. The court may fine her, perhaps even sentence her to a few months in prison. But even from inside the jail, she will be free. And I will wait outside, waiting for her release. Not for the money, for my daughter. Because money can be recovered. Trust cannot be recovered. It must be earned. And on that path of earning, my Neha is walking. 6 months have passed. Neha no longer sleeps on the sofa. She has set up a small bed in the corner of the balcony. She made cushions from her mother's old sari and hung an old photograph on the wall. Me, her mother, and Neha. Barely 5 years old. She said that day, Baba, I hadn't seen Amma's photo in so long. I was forgetting her somehow. Her job is permanent now. The owner of the publishing house called me one day and said, Your daughter is very talented. Her editing skills are exceptional. We have decided to keep her full-time. I thanked him. After I put the phone down, I stared into space for a while. Neha, talented. I always knew that. The question was only which path she would choose to channel that talent. She now earns 18,000 taka. Every month she hands me 15,000. The rest she keeps for her own expenses. I tell her, spend whatever you need. No one is forcing you. She smiles. Baba, this is the pressure. I've taken it upon myself. You just keep count. I keep count. In a notebook, date, amount, signature. She signs every time. Her handwriting is no longer hurried or messy. Slowly, carefully she writes. As if with every letter she is proving, I will not lie again. Last month something happened. I returned from college in the afternoon and found Neha standing on the balcony, an envelope in her hand. Her eyes were red. I asked, what happened? She held out the envelope. Inside was a bank draft, 5 lakh taka, sent by Jason's father. With it, a letter. My son was walking the same path. I couldn't stop him in time. Use this money to withdraw the case against Neha. I don't want any other parent to suffer as I have. I looked at the letter for a long time. Then I looked at Neha. She stood silently. I asked, what do you say? She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, Baba, we cannot take this money. Our case is not about money. If we take this, that man will think money can solve everything. His son thinks the same. We will help them unlearn that. Not by taking money. I looked at her. The girl who once could have sold her father for money. Today, she is telling me to return 5 lakh taka. I said, "You're right. We will return it." She said, "I will return it. Slowly, from my salary." I nodded. The next day, she went to the bank and cancelled the draft, returned the money, wrote a letter, handwritten, in her own words. The last line she read out to me. "I am earning my own money to repay my father. The responsibility of returning your money is also mine. Because your son, like me, once believed that parents are infinite resources, with no accountability. Now I know, being a parent is not just about love. Their dreams, their pain, their trust, all of it has value. Tell your son to return while there is still time. If it is too late, only money can be repaid. Trust cannot." 3 weeks after sending the letter, Jason's father called. His voice was heavy. He said, "I received your daughter's letter. My son has framed it." He said, "Baba, this girl has changed me." I asked, "How is Jason now?" He said, "He is in therapy. Sold all his DJ equipment. Now he works at a small restaurant. Every month, he gives me money, and I send it to your daughter's account." He said, "The day the full amount is repaid, he will come himself to meet her and ask for forgiveness." After the call, I told Neha. She listened. Then she looked out the window. After a long silence, she said, "Baba, I am someone's Jason too. How many people have cried because of me? I don't even know." I walked over and stood beside her. The soft afternoon light was on the balcony. Her mother's sari swayed gently in the breeze. Tears gathered at the corners of Neha's eyes. But she was smiling. I placed my hand on her shoulder. This morning, I received a call from the district public library. Next month, the poet Nirmalendu Goon will preside over the district literary conference. I have been invited to chair the discussion session on his work. I agreed and put the phone down. Neha was sitting beside me, drinking tea. She said, "Baba, you still receive so much respect. So many people know you. And yet you live in this rented house, grow vegetables in pots on the balcony, don't even own a home of your own." I said, "I lost a house, but I didn't lose my family. A family is not brick and mortar. A family is people. You are here. This is my home." She sipped her tea and said, "Then do one thing, Baba. Take me with you to the conference." I was surprised. She never wants to go to such events. She knows what people say about her. But she said, "Baba, I will not run anymore. You told the neighbors your daughter would be a barrister. Today, tell them your daughter stole your money. And today, she stands beside you. They need to know that truth." Before I could respond, she added, "I don't want to die of shame anymore. I want to live, truly, openly." At the conference, she sat beside me. She wore a white sari, her mother's sari. Her hair was tied simply, a small wooden locket around her neck. She listened to the poet's words, applauded, and when the tea session began, she held my hand and stood up. One by one, before my colleagues, my students, the neighbors, she spoke. "I am Neha, my father's only daughter. The daughter who, for 3 years, stole money from her father and fled to London. Today, I am here holding my father's hand, not to repay the money, but to tell the truth. My father has forgiven me, but I have not yet forgiven myself. The day I do, perhaps my life will be worthwhile." The tea circle fell silent. Then, one by one, applause rose. The poet Nirmalendu walked over and took her hand. He said, "You don't need to write poetry. You yourself are a living poem." Neha broke down. She wiped her eyes again and again, but the tears wouldn't stop. I held her close. After so long, I saw her cry, not in pain, but in release. When we returned home, she fell asleep. I sat on the balcony, thinking. So many years have passed. After Neha's mother left, I was only surviving, not living. In the name of fulfilling her dreams, I had killed my own. I thought raising my daughter would give my life meaning. But meaning comes from love, not achievement. Neha is asleep now, on her mother's sari cushion. Beside her hand lies the book of Jibanananda Das's poems. Every morning she wakes, makes tea, goes to college, works, and in the evening, sits reading. The fear of being lost is no longer in her eyes. In its place, a strange calm, a sense of responsibility. Yesterday, she asked me, "Baba, do you want a new house for me?" I said, "I once did, not anymore." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because I understand now. A house is not just 4 walls. When you were in London, I sold the house and left. But wherever you go, that is where my home will be. When you returned, I didn't build a new house. The room you sleep in, that is my balcony. The window you look through, That is my sky. This morning, she said, Baba, I bought you a plant. I looked. In her hands, a small pot. Inside, a rose sapling. She said, we'll keep this pot on the balcony. You water it every day. When it blooms, you'll see. I couldn't return your 18 lakh taka. But this one rose will mean more to you than all of it. Because your daughter gave it to you with her own hands. I took the pot. The soil was still damp. The sapling was small, but firm. I placed it in the sunniest corner of the balcony. Neha stood beside me. She said, Baba, what should we name this plant? I said, Neharos. She smiled. Her smile now holds no hiding. I know, behind this smile, there is still pain. The wounds inside her will take many more years to heal. But this smile tells me, she is no longer the old Neha. She is changing now. Every day, little by little. And I? Every morning I wake and water that rose. Sometimes I wipe its leaves. I check for new buds. Neha stands beside me drinking tea. We stand together on the balcony, in silence, watching the sky, watching the birds, watching the children playing on the neighbor's rooftop. I think, if Neha's mother were alive today, she too would stand on this balcony and watch this scene. She would smile. I would tell her, look, your daughter is growing up. A rose has bloomed in her hands. Perhaps she would say, I knew it all along. She would come back. Yes, she has come back. Not completely, perhaps, but she has come back. Today, I will make a new entry in the ledger. 12,500 taka. Neha's installment for this month. I will write the amount and take her signature. She will sign, slowly, carefully, beautifully. And on the last page of the ledger, I will have her write one more line. Baba, I have come home. For these few words, I waited 20 years. I lost 18 lakh taka. I lost my house. But today, I am rich. My daughter has returned. A rose has bloomed in her hands. There are no dreams in her eyes now, only reality. She no longer carries the urgency to win, only the will to live. Tonight, Neha said, Baba, wake me up tomorrow morning. I don't want to be late. I smiled. When she was little, she used to say this every day. Baba, wake me up tomorrow morning. Then I would call her. She would stay asleep. I would call again. She would sit up, rubbing her eyes. Cup of tea in hand, she would walk to the window and stand there. Just like her mother. Today she has returned to that childhood. And so have I. I am 68 now. My pension is not enough. The money Neha gives me has accumulated to nearly 40,000. I tell her, you give me so much. Keep some for yourself. She says, Baba, this is your money. I am only returning it. When you grow old, you can buy whatever you want with it. A rose garden, or a bird, or just save it, for my daughter. I fall silent. She knows I don't have much time left. She knows I will not buy anything with this money. She knows I only want to see her. Making tea every morning, reading at night, standing on the balcony, watching the sky. She knows, one day, I will leave her. So she is in a hurry to grow up, to stand on her own feet, to show me, Baba, you can go without fear. I am here. I will manage. I have changed. Today, looking at her face, I see her mother's eyes. The same calm, the same strength. I know, she will not leave me. She has come back to stay, and I will not leave her. We stand together now on that balcony, father and daughter, cups of tea in hand, the Neharos pot beside us, the afternoon light falling on our skin. Clouds are gathering in the sky. Neha says, Baba, rain is coming. I say, let it come. She smiles. I hold her hand. This, I think, is happiness.